Now, Mr. Stegosaurus, how do you think Miss Triceratops felt when you said that to her? Not very good. That's right. So, Miss Tricer... Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. So, I have some updates on my coming out status before the big day, or at least one of the big days. So, I probably have, like, the weirdest coming out story in, like, coming out history. Like, I don't even know if this is something that's precedent at all. It's certainly something I've never heard about. So something I wanted to do before I came out to my parents was that I wanted to come out to my boyfriend's parents. Partially this was kind of to ease into coming out, but also when I thought about it, I thought if I come out to my entire family but not out to his family, I'm only still like halfway out of the closet. But of course, I don't know his family as well as he does, obviously, so I kind of felt nervous about telling them because I kind of feel nervous about talking to them in general. So, big mistake number one, I asked him to tell them. Now, I'm not blaming anyone for this scenario, it just, stuff kind of happened. The other thing is that this took place in Japanese, and for those of you who don't know, Japanese can be a very vague language, and communication can get confused very easily. So big mistake number two, he decides to tell her via text. He said, "Do you know what bi means?" And his mom said, "Yeah, it's when someone likes both girls and guys." And he said, "That's what woza is." And according to him, she completely went off, saying that I was a cheater, that I was a liar, and probably the most hurtful thing is that she said that we should break up. And I was really upset by this. I couldn't have even imagined this kind of reaction, especially since it wasn't even like her own kid. I was upset for a while, and my boyfriend was kind of getting bummed out seeing me like that. So he talked to his mom, unbeknownst to me, and suddenly she calls me, and I freak out. Like, is she gonna tell me off or something like that? I didn't know. So I texted my boyfriend and asked him what this was about, and he said it was about me coming out. And I'm like, well, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And he's like, maybe good, which wasn't very reassuring. So I let it ring through a few calls, and then finally I picked up. She said, "Did you think that we were mad?" We meaning his mom and his dad. And I was like, "Yeah, kinda." And she's like, "Yeah, your boyfriend's an idiot. He decided to do this over text, so he couldn't relay what he was trying to say properly." So what he thought he was relaying when he said, "That's what woza is," in Japanese again, mind you, is that I'm capable of falling for either guys or girls. What she got from what he said in the way he said it is that I'm seeing another girl at the same time as him and that he was fine with it. But neither of them knew that that's what the other one was thinking, so basically she thought I was cheating on him, which made her reaction make a whole lot more sense. So getting back to the conversation, she said we're not mad, and she apologized for telling my boyfriend to break up with me, which was for a completely different reason than what she thought she was saying. She said that she doesn't really care about my sexual orientation as long as he and I are happy together. And we are, so again, it's a very weird situation, but it ended up working out for the better. So I'm not mad at my boyfriend or his mom. I'm at that point I was just so relieved that she didn't hate me that I'm just glad that everything worked out. Now, as for coming out to everyone else, I kind of changed what I decided to do for this. I'm no longer going to come out on Facebook, because I decided that that was really impersonal and not, just not the best way to go about it. I decided to write a letter to my parents, which I've already done, and I've actually already sent it as well. Sorry for the lack of update on that. I had heard a lot of people, like on YouTube and stuff, say that it's a really bad idea to tell your parents through letter. But I mean, my situation is kind of different than a lot of people. I'm living overseas. I realize that telling them in person is the best option, but that's not really an option for me unless I want to tell them 10 months later, or if not, another 2 years later. And telling them on the phone, I don't really handle phone calls very well. It'd just be really stressful for me, and I don't know, writing a letter just seemed like the best course of action I could take. So having sent it, it all just seems kind of unreal to me at the moment. Like, I've told them, but at the same time, they still don't know. And that's really kind of a weird spot to be in. On the one hand, I'm relieved that I told them, but at the same time, I haven't really taken the brunt of the situation by having them react to it. So that's kind of weird. Waiting is kind of a bitch, and I still don't know how they're gonna take it, or really what's gonna happen. I'm kind of trying to push it to the back of my mind so I can actually, like, function, and I'm trying to play it off like it's not a big deal, but sometimes it kind of creeps to the forefront of my mind, and I start to worry about it. It sucks having to wait, but, I mean, they're gonna get it eventually. As for the rest of my family, I intend to tell them through kind of a mass email. It's not as impersonal as Facebook. I realize it's not the best thing. Again, it'd be best for me to tell them in person, but again, that's not really an option for me at this point. And then for anyone else I know, lastly, I'm going to come out on Facebook, which, if they weren't part of the email or didn't know from before, I doubt they'd really mind that I'm telling them via Facebook, because that's probably the best place I know them anyway. As for people at work, I really don't plan on telling anyone, and the reason for that is the few co-workers I have, we don't really talk about kind of personal stuff like that, so it really seems irrelevant and just kind of awkward to tell them. As for my clients, the majority of them are kids, which I think that would be kind of inappropriate to tell kids, or their parents, usually those kids' parents. So again, I don't think it would be a very good situation. On top of that, I don't really know a lot of them particularly well. They don't know me particularly well, other than that I'm their teacher and they know my teaching style and whatever. Again, it's irrelevant, and I don't see it having a place in my job, so there's no point in really telling them, I don't think. So technically I'll only be like 90% out, but again, it's not really relevant for me to tell people at work, so it's close enough to 100. I'm fine with that. It's no big deal for me, really. So that's about it, and I'm on my way to getting out. I'll update when more stuff has happened. I'll let you know what happened with my parents, maybe if it doesn't destroy my life. And yeah, I guess that's it. Keep on trucking. People haven't said that since the 70s.